Hi,
Hi, I'm
Sarah.
Sarah from the Upcoming. Such a pleasure to be able to speak to you. How are you today? All right?
Oh, good. We're good.
Great,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
having us.
No worries. So lovely to chat to you about Love Accidentally. Maybe you could just kick off with a brief introduction to this really, really brilliant rom-com. For people who don't know anything about it, what can they expect?
Well, this story starts with these two work adversaries who just happen to get broken up with by their significant other, and my character is venting to wants to vent to her best friend, has a few glasses of wine, and picks up her text to text her best friend, and her friend lost her phone and accidentally texts someone else. But then sometimes, it's easier to vent to people you don't know. It's easier to like be honest with people you don't know. So it's what sort of happens. And at least for my character, she starts to like slowly fall for this person that she has no idea who it is. They've kept their identities completely like anonymous. And they slowly start this like weird friendship that turns into something more. And then I'll let Aaron finish off this
I mean,
story.
wow, very well said. And so my character, I play Jason, and my character starts receiving these texts, and they are warm and heartfelt and just raw texts. And I feel like in today's day and age, there's a lot of filter I think everybody puts on themselves. So it was kind of a refreshing space to be in because my character had just gotten out of a relationship too and was having all these feelings as well and trying to figure out how to move on and get to that next stage of his life. So, but all while that's going on, my character is vying for this top position at the advertising company with Brenda's
With my character
character.
Alexa. We're
Yeah,
both competing for the same position at our company, and we hate each other like with a
absolutely.
passion. We're very
Yeah,
competitive with each other,
yeah. So it's
which is
interesting.
really fun.
You get to see this dynamic of this work balance in relationships and work, and how completely different it is outside of work. So it's really cool to see the relationships evolve from both sides. And I mean, it was a fun, such a fun film to shoot, especially with
Yeah.
obviously Brenda. But it was good. A lot of banter, a lot of quick banter, and I think the chemistry between the characters and the actors was just such. It was really well casted. I thought it was such a fun one to be a part of.
Yeah, no, it's great. And then, of course, in the end, we find out that, I mean, I don't think it's a big spoiler, but I think we find out that we've been texting each other, and that sort of causes a conundrum. How do you, in one world, dislike someone so much, but then also on this other side, like you've completely fallen in love with them? It just goes to show you that you can't really judge a book by its cover, and people's environments and stuff like that. It's like, I hated, like literally, I can use the word hate. We really, 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 really disliked each other
Despise.
on a
Yeah.
work level. But then on this other side, we've let each other our guards down and have like fallen for each other. So it's this great sort of juxtaposition, and especially with all the tech today, I feel like this obviously has had to happen to someone.
Definitely
And I just thought it was
relatable.
a really fun concept. It was very simple, but like also really relatable in today's world, and kind of like how tech savvy everything sort of is, and how everyone can sort of hide behind, your text. It's easier to like hide behind your computer screens and things like that. So I thought it was an interesting twist on that.
Yeah.
And what I thought what was really great about it is it kind of combined, that sort of rom-com feeling of, like the golden era, if you like to say, of the rom-coms, things like How to Lose a Guy in ten
Yes.
Days.
Right.
But it does bring it into the modern era, like you say, with the technology, with social media, where really everyone's having to put a front on and no one can ever really be themselves. And it's finding a unique way to make a twist on that. So was that part of the appeal as well?
Yeah.
For me,
Absolutely.
definitely. And also, I thought it was really interesting that the twist on the fact that sometimes it's easier to be honest with a complete stranger. Like they don't know your background. You can almost be anybody you want to be. It's easier to like let your guard down when you really feel like you're anonymous. And I thought that was really interesting because I do feel like in today's world, where even like with social media, you have to put up such, a front, this perfect life that you live. And it's hard to sometimes be like, you know what, I'm not okay. And this is like, not everything's not as great as it is. Going through a breakup is so hard. And being able to be vulnerable, like in today's world, almost feels like it's almost not okay. You have to always feel like I'm faking it till you make it. So I also really loved that aspect. And for me personally, I mean, I think we've all accidentally sent text messages that we shouldn't have to like the wrong people. And so I thought it was just a fun play on that for me at least.
Yeah, no, I have to agree completely. I think it was also kind of fun to see these characters heal together from a similar situation that they have both gone through. Because a lot of times you don't want to be judged by somebody, and I feel like, texting somebody anonymously and then starting to develop that relationship, there's almost, like she said, that sense of comfort where you can kind of let the guard down and let your emotions and feelings help, let them be, I don't know, just kind of healed through all of the pain that you just have gone through. So that was really fun to play, but it was also fun to play, the office stuff where it was completely opposite.
The banter stuff was so much fun. That was the thing. It's like we'd be shooting scenes where like we'd have to we're like slowly falling for each other, and the next scene literally be arguing with each other and like on top of each other's like on like being so cutthroat. And I think that's what's really, really fun. And it also goes to show like just how different people can be, and the kind of armor they put on when they're feeling vulnerable. Like I feel like with both these characters, the more like especially in the beginning when I think they're both like coming out of this breakup and they're a little more vulnerable, their work selves were even harsher because they're like, well, since I'm feeling so vulnerable, this is the one place I have control. And so that stuff was really fun to shoot because like Aaron is not at all like his character. And it was just so much fun to kind of just like be butting heads at like every turn, and all this work stuff. And the cast is so great. Like Denise, Max, everyone was so wonderful. We had such a good time.
I think the opening scene too really shows you the dynamic of what you're getting ready to embark on, which I thought was a good place to put that scene in the script right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I also thought, it looks like you had so much fun, kind of the banter that you have in the office, both between your characters and with the other members of the cast. But I also thought actually a lot of the other scenes must have been kind of hard to shoot because you're essentially talking to yourself. You weren't actually in the room together. So was that kind of challenging as well?
Can I tell you, it was the greatest thing was, Aaron was so generous. And in a lot of the scenes that were like a more like intimate and quiet, we actually sat and read with each other because it was just, it's so important to get someone's cadence, to get someone that emotion. You can't fake that no matter how great a reader is or, our scripty was or our director was. You just can't emulate that, especially when you've been working with someone for, for weeks. You just create a rapport and a chemistry that can't be replicated any other way. So yes, there were times where it was challenging because the way we were shooting this during COVID. So we were really block shooting stuff and trying to isolate actors and things. So it was tricky, but I feel like there were a lot of times when they were playing playback for me from like, if you had shot before. But it was the best when we were able to like kind of just read off camera for each other because, there's nothing better. But yes, it was quite tricky. When I first read the script, I was like, how are we going to do this? But I think it came out great.
Yeah. And not all actors do that. So I was fortunate, to have Brenda there, especially like you said, on some of these scenes where there was more emotion involved and you've already established, a relationship filming and kind of navigated, the storyline together. I feel like it really helped it come full circle and, make it believable.
And in terms of what people can take away from a film like this, obviously it's just a lot of fun to watch. Maybe at this time in life, everybody needs something that's a bit uplifting. But also there is a great message in there. I love this line that they keep repeating is that life is the thing that happens when you're making other plans. There is, a great thing for people to kind of, take from that and just think, you do have to kind of be in the moment and be in the present and not always be so obsessed with the pressures you have, whether that's work or to look a certain way or be on social media or so on and so forth.
I think in today's day and age, I feel like there's a big disconnect between that work-life balance. And here you see our characters so invested and involved in work. It's really taken a toll in personal life and relationships. And, I think the base of every human being is we all want love at the end of the day. And that's really what, if you have that tank filled, you're so much better in other areas of your life. So I think just throughout this film, you see, a disconnect, at least with my character, kind of trying to figure things out. And then the happiness grows as he starts to fill up that tank and create balance in his life, in his personal life, more so than his work life. So I think that's relatable to everybody. And I think everybody's, at some point or another has texted the wrong person accidentally. And, so there's definitely a lot of relatable, moments I feel like in this film.
Yeah, and that's one of the lines actually, I think when I first read the script that like really got me as well. It's like sometimes we're so focused on our plans that we think we need to, the things that we need to do, the plans that we need to stay on, the path that we need to stay on, that we forget to look around and enjoy the ride. And I think that's what it is, like, especially with my character Alexa, she has such specific goals in mind that she doesn't even realize that her personal life is falling apart, that her boyfriend is not, they're not where she thought she was going to be, because she was seeing what she wanted to see instead of what was actually happening. And I think that's like, it's like what Aaron said. It's like, I think people get so wrapped up in your everyday life, like with work and all these goals that you have, that you forget to just sit back and enjoy it and let like life be. And I think that's what happens in this story. It's like these characters realizing that you can't control everything, and you definitely can't control who you fall in love with. And obviously it's the most extreme version, but it's like a fun way to kind of just remind yourself that you just never know who that special person may be. They may be the last person you think it's going to be. So be open to everything, and to also be open to everything in life. Like, you may think that this is something, you need this specific thing to be happy, but it'll never be that one thing that makes you happy. Happy, like, it's that cheesy line that it's like, happiness is not a destination, it's the journey. It's like, it really is though.
100%. Well, I think I'm out of time, but it's been such a pleasure to speak to you both, and I can't wait for everyone else to see Love Accidentally. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.